Please read the disclaimer. Emergency upload. Trump just said, get out now. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. The crypto market is pulling back. XRP is selling off. Bitcoin is down 3%. Ethereum is down 5%. Solana's everything across the board is down. We're going to talk about why this is happening, why things could be kicking off in just a second, why some news outlets are actually blaming one thing when I know that it's another thing. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out the good vibes. Even if there is some complicated times, we still give out the good vibes. Smishity smash that like button and let's get into it. So currently XRP is sitting at $1.34. Like I said, down minus 3.8%, a Bitcoin at 65,000. We're seeing Ethereum down 5%, under 2,000 once again. If you go to Yahoo Finance, it will say stocks sinking after PPI inflation surprise, which we'll get to in just a second. The PPI came in higher than expected, 2.9 versus expectations of 2.6. This means core inflation is heating up. We've seen this before, and it had an effect on the crypto market, but and the stock market as well. As you can see here, S&P 500 down about 0.5%, NASDAQ also down about 0.5% here, 0.69, and the VIX is up about 10%, 11% into the 20s. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that anything over 20 is starting to turn bearish, right? And so that is the situation we have right now on the markets, but it's not because of the PPI. No, sir. No, sir. It's the same thing like a few days ago where everybody and his sister and brother thought that the crypto market did so amazing because of Jane Street and their lawsuit that they received. But I was like, no. It's because of Circle's earnings, right? And we see now that it wasn't just because of Jane Street. Well, same thing here. Mainstream media is talking about the PPI when that is not the reason why the markets are dropping. The markets are dropping because of this tweet that came out earlier today and from the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem saying on February 27, 2026, the Department of State authorized the departure of non-emergency U.S. government personnel and family members of the U.S. government personnel from the mission in Israel due to safety risks. In response to security incidents and without advance notice, the U.S. Embassy may further restrict or prohibit U.S. government employees and their family members from traveling to certain areas in Israel, the Old City of Jerusalem, and the West Bank. Persons may wish to consider leaving Israel while commercial flights are available. And so basically they are telling the American embassy workers, get out now before things start kicking off. The thinking here is that the U.S. will attack Iran. Iran, where can it attack, right? There's not really a lot of U.S. marks, right, in the Middle East. There's the Qatar base, which we'll talk about in just a second, but that's about it. Some in Iraq. There's still some bases in Iraq, some things in Iraq, but for the most part, there's not a lot of stuff, right? And so where can they attack? U.S.'s allies, right? And so there's a high probability that if the U.S. attacks, Israel will get some retaliation. And so was the trigger that sent the crypto market to sell off. And you can see the tweet came out at 11:17 a.m. My time, right? And the exact moment that the market started selling off was here, right? 11:20, somewhere around that. The market started understanding that this was going on, right? Probably not a lot of people follow this, right? 135,000, but it probably took some time until the tweeters and the Twitters and the bots kind of started analyzing this. Few minutes, and at 11:30, right? And PPI only came out here, so the XRP had already dropped about 4%, and Bitcoin already dropped about 3.4% into that PPI news. And you can see since PPI news came out, it hasn't really dropped that much. So the market's freaking out about this potential clash that it seems like it's going to happen, high probability. President Trump said he would love not to attack Iran, but sometimes you have to, right? And it says here Trump says he wants to make a deal with Iran and doesn't want to use military force against them. He also says Iran cannot have nuclear weapons and is not happy with how Iran is negotiating. And on the flip side, right, onto that, people are the countries are already talking for foreign people to leave Iran. So the U.S. doesn't have people in Iran, but China and other countries as well are telling their people in Iran to get out as well. So you can see China Ministry of Foreign Affairs has urged Chinese citizens to avoid traveling to Iran and told those already in the country to strengthen security precautions and leave as soon as possible. We're also seeing the flip side. This was reported in Israel. It says the report in Iranian media Iranians have issued a directive to Iranian citizens to leave UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and Jordan. In cases where leaving is not possible, it is recommended to avoid approaching any military bases, sites, hotel, ports, or commercial centers associated with the United States and to reduce non-essential travel to absolute minimum as possible. So they're telling their people get out of these places where potentially we could be attacking, right? That there could be US assets or US bases in that area. And we're also seeing the biggest base in Qatar, the Middle East, the El Udeid Air Base in Qatar, has been evacuated and now practically empty. They located all the forces basically to Israel. Okay. And so that's what's happening right now. It seems maybe they don't trust are. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit closer, so it's easier to attack. This base was what got attacked after Trump went after the nuclear sites, right, with the B2s. And this base got attacked as kind of a retaliation onto the US because the US attacked, right? So they had to give some sort of retaliation, and that's what they did there. So that base is basically empty right now. And so this is going to be very interesting to see what happens here, right, in the next coming hours, the next coming days. We're the people here on the ground are already talking about a little bit of vacation, no work, although people still might have to work from home. We'll see how severe it will be. Last time around, it was about 12 days, and most people were working from home at that time. You didn't go outside if you didn't have to. There is about like 12 minutes. So the system is pretty advanced, right? You get a message to your phone, and there's like 12 minutes or 10 minutes, somewhere around that, because that's how much long it takes from the ballistic missile to get from Iran to areas in Israel. And then once the siren starts going off, you have about a minute. So you have time. So like if you're far away from home or far away from a shelter, you have time to get there. So that's okay, but it comes in huge waves, so it can be a little bit stressful. We'll see what happens this time around. Again, I hope that things don't kick off, but it seems with high probability in the near future. Again, it might happen today, tomorrow, next week. We don't know when Trump is going to decide to do this, and maybe they make a deal. Maybe, who knows? But the fact that they're changing all these things means that there must be some movement that is triggering all these countries to do this. And I think a lot of countries saw the first tweet for the embassy, and they are saying, hey, it might be time to get out. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the markets are going to go here today. I don't want to make this video too long just because that's what I wanted to get through here tonight on Friday night. And so we'll see potentially what is going to happen here for the crypto market, for the markets in general going into next week. Maybe things kick off, maybe they don't, maybe the markets recover, but there's still going to be a little bit of fear in the market. So we need to watch out for that and be ready for possibility that things kick off and the market sells off more. What are you going to do? That's the question. Again, as always, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Don't forget to smash the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, 8 for infinity and beyond. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.